Here we have a 2014 Mercedes-Benz S550 4Matic. And this one comes in palladium silver on nut brown perforated leather seats. And the powertrain consists of a 4.7 liter twin turbo V8. Made it to a 7-speed automatic transmission. And that gets you 449 horsepower, 516 pound-feet of torque. And this is just a beautiful specimen right here. I love these cars. So as you get to the front end, we have our LED headlamps along with LED daytime running lights. And then down here we have our 20-inch aluminum wheels. We get passive keyless entry on all 4 doors. And here we have the controls for our power driver's seat. We have 3-stage heated cooled seats. We also have memory seating, power door locks, power windows, power mirrors. Headlamp controls, as well as our electronic parking brake. And there's the driver's seat there. And the seats really held up for this car having over 130,000 miles on it. We also have rear heated cooled seats with memory settings. That Burmester sound system. Just, oh, that interior is fantastic. I'm just gonna sit in here and check out this leg room. And of course there's plenty of it. And this seat pillow feels fantastic. And there we have our rear AC vents. And then check this out. 2-prong household plug-in puts out 115 volts. It's pretty nice. And of course, have a vanity mirror there. Dual pane sunroof. Here's the middle seat. Fold that down. Cup holders. Storage tray. And then we have a additional storage area there. And then we can also roll down the rear blinds, etc. Push of a button. I love that. So let's check out the back. So of course, massive trunk space there. I mean, huge. And there's a view of the back end there. Dual exhaust. And then here we have our power front passenger seat. And there are the controls for that there. I mean, just a beautiful car, even with over 131,000 miles, still looks fantastic. Now to open up the hood. A little heavy. But there's that 4.7 liter twin turbo V8. Sorry for that slam there. Let's go ahead and hop in the driver's seat. So here we have our steering wheel, which we can also heat by turning this knob right here on and off. And of course, we have our tilt and telescope as well. And it's a Mercedes, what do you expect? Now over here to the system we have. So I had to go ahead and cut the climate control off, and that was a feat in itself, but once you figure it out, it's pretty neat. Just scroll down here, and then you can actually go through. You have an air freshener, climate mode. You can mess with the airflow, the distribution. It's just so much you can do with these S classes. Then you just cut that all on there, and then you can turn it right off. But anyways, let's go to the radio. Navigation screen there. Great big old size. We get AM, FM radio, along with XM and internet radio. And then in terms of media, we have a Bluetooth audio connection, memory card, aux input, and then a CD drive. And then for the seat, this is really what amazes me. There's so many settings that you can fool with on here. Dynamic multi-contour seat, you can mess with that. The massage. Your shoulders, how that adjusts. I mean, crazy. And then of course the lumbar, the backrest sides. It's just so much you can do with these seats, and not to mention the controls that are on the door. I just think that's awesome. There's our backup camera there, and the guidelines are very accurate as you turn the steering wheel. Probably one of the most accurate backup camera guidelines I've ever seen. We'll pull up the telephone, those vehicle settings. I mean, you can change the ambient light color, the trunk opening height, how it automatically locks. Just so much you can do. But down here we have the buttons for the dual zone automatic climate controls, and you can fool with that. And then of course use a screen too. And then an ashtray, cigarette lighter. And then here, there's that disk drive there. And it just stows away. Cup holders there. And then this is the button I use to toggle the seat, and I can pull that up. I love these quick shortcuts. They're just really, there's so much on this radio that it's nice to just have the quick cuts for what's most important. Adjusting your seat, navigation, radio, Bluetooth, aux, all that, and the vehicle settings. And then we can adjust our modes here. So we have an eco mode, sport mode. We can adjust the suspension, sport or comfort mode. We can adjust the ride height. And then radio controls here, the eco mode button here. And there's our center console cubby space. That beautiful dual pane sunroof, one touch. You can tilt or slide that. And there's a view of the back seat from up here. And I really do just love how Mercedes thinks of everything you could want in a luxury vehicle for their S-Class. And there are owner's manuals in the glove compartment. And then we have our gauge cluster controls, Bluetooth control here, these three buttons. And then we can go through our cluster here, which also a ton of options to go through. on how you want it set up. So I'm gonna leave that there. And then, okay, so 4 Bluetooth controls, a mute, volume, paddle shifters behind the steering wheel. And as for our shifter, push down for drive, pull all the way up for reverse, tap down for neutral, press P for park. There's that push button start. And then here we have our key fob. And next we're gonna go ahead and take this S550 4Matic out on the road for a quick test drive. So I have the adaptive cruise on now. And let me just say, it's no surprise that this rides incredibly. Just a really smooth ride. It's kind of sad because I get impressed when I get into other vehicles, but if I get in a Mercedes and it's not the best ride I've ever been in, I'm disappointed. But even with 131,000 miles, it still rides and drives like it should. And I'm just getting a slight creak in the driver's seat. And I think the seat back needs to be put on there correctly. Looks like an easy fix, but that's what's making that creaking noise. But I mean, the massage function still works. The multi-contour, everything about the seats still work. The power controls still work. And like I said, I just can't believe this car has 130,000 miles on it. For a Mercedes, especially an S-Class, this was getting some miles put on it. But I have it in the comfort suspension mode, and then I have it in the eco driving mode, and still there's plenty of power at my foot, but I'm gonna go ahead and dial it up a notch. And when those turbos kick in, they really do. You really feel them. And it's still not like a sports car feel, because it's not what you want if you're buying an S-Class, but it's still super fast and you just feel like you're gliding at the speed of light. It's just a fantastic feeling. I mean, still quick. It feels light as a feather in terms of straight line acceleration. Ooh, and that contour seat really holds you when you go into corners. the adaptive cruise is keeping that safe distance between myself and the vehicle in front of me. So even though I have it set to 75, it's slowing me down. And of course I can adjust that. But oh my gosh, this ride is so great. And I've had a really good day today in terms of driving vehicles that have really good ride quality. And you also, you kind of want to throw this car in the corners to see how it reacts when you, or see how the contour seats react when it's having to hold you up. And it does a really good job based on where you're going in the seat. And it's almost like a game. It's really, really nice. We'll give it some throttle out of this corner here. And although this isn't necessarily the sportiest car, it does handle very well. I mean, you have the 4Matic system, so the all-wheel drive is definitely helping. The way the power band is set up with this twin turbo V8, the 7-speed, everything about this car is just, you can tell it was made to be worth $120,000 new. And that's one thing I love about Mercedes. Even if things are falling apart, they got 250,000 miles on them, you still know that the quality was there. And I just, even this high mileage S550, it's a 14, just everything seems to be in good shape. It's holding up well, and it still drives like an S550 should. And these seats are still super duper comfortable. And I own a Mustang Mach-E, and from driving so many S-classes, it really, I wish I could afford an EQS, because if it's anywhere near as comfortable and has all the gadgets and gizmos that this S550 has, I definitely want to have one of those. I know it has the massage seats. Of course, the range is good. The performance is great. But really, when you buy a Mercedes, you want that luxury interior that you can't find in any other car. And that's why those are pushing $120,000 to $150,000 new, whether it's an S-Class, EQS, sometimes even more than that, depending on what trim level you get and what options. But they're just such great cars in terms of features, how comfortable they are, how they drive. Just nothing like them. And that's why the S-Class isn't only the flagship of Mercedes-Benz, but it really is the flagship luxury vehicle, period. And this will bring me to the end of my review of the 2014 Mercedes-Benz S550 4Matic.